Welcome back everyone. So believe it or not, it's actually been about a month since the iPhone SE 2020 came out, and I'll be honest, I figured I might as well make an updated review, talk about basically my main, pros with it, the cons with it for this last month of ownership. And I'll be honest, even since after I did those comparisons, I was still using this phone for a lot of things. I did those camera tests as well, and I can definitely tell you, after comparing it to all those phones, the Androids, the iPhones, the camera tests, the speed performance, all that stuff, I can tell you that the iPhone SE2 is definitely a beast when it comes down to the performance. Okay, I think the performance is top tier, but I really think, a lot of other things about this phone are pretty much, average, or at least a little bit above average. And obviously you're not expecting to get the best things, and I think that's totally okay. You know what I mean? This is a $400 phone from Apple. They weren't trying to replace the iPhone 11 Pro or anything like that, or even replace the iPhone 11. They were just trying to make a budget phone that had really good performance, and that's exactly what they did. The cameras are still pretty much average in my opinion, same, and they're a little bit above average for sure. But definitely when you're getting this phone, you're paying for two things in my opinion. You're paying for the longevity in terms of the support. This thing's going to be getting support for a very long time, and you're going to be getting great performance. And after all my tests that I did for the last month and everything like that, I can definitely tell you the performance is top tier. I think in some cases it was actually faster than my iPhone 11, which was the fastest iPhone that I was using at that time. But now the, SE2 is probably a little bit faster than that. And I'll be completely honest, the whole entire bezel design with the home button and everything, that really hasn't bothered me too much, if I'm being honest. I thought it was going to bother me a little bit more, but after a little while, you just kind of get used to it. So the home button, the Touch ID, I really don't even think it's that big of a deal. My biggest gripe with this thing though would probably be the battery life. That's really my only issue. The way this phone looks, even the camera, I can get over a lot of those things, but the battery life is just one of those things that I just don't really, like about this phone. Now, I would say it's the most average battery life I've ever had in my life. You can probably get it, in my usage, I'm not even that heavy of a user, but I would probably be ending the day with about 20% every single day. And even standby time wasn't even as great as I thought it was going to be. My iPhone 11, lasts, noticeable amount of time. It can last about a week or two. I would say for at least a week and a half. My SE2 would go about 3-4 days, and it would automatically be on 20%, after a full charge. Maybe I used it for a couple times for a video, but I still think at the end of the day, the battery life on the SE2 is one of those things that you're definitely going to feel. It's definitely going to hit you a little bit harder than anything else. If your usage is a little bit low, then it's really not going to be that big of a deal. But throughout my month of ownership, the battery life was probably one of those things that probably have served me the most. After those camera tests I did as well, I noticed that the camera on the SE2 was actually really good. I think, it's definitely not amazing, but for a single camera setup, it's more or less the same as what you would expect on an iPhone 8, for example, which that also had, a pretty good camera on it. The front camera is a little bit weird, especially when you consider the fact that, the iPhone 11 can shoot 4K at 60. But again, this thing isn't supposed to be rivaling the iPhone 11. It's supposed to be, its own little thing. If anything, its main rival is the original iPhone SE and the iPhone 8. Those are really the two main things that this thing was kind of replacing. And I think ultimately it did a pretty good job. You know what I mean? I think it's still a very good phone. I don't think it's, the best phone. I don't even think it's the best $400 phone. In my opinion, you're almost better off picking up a used iPhone 10 than picking up a brand new iPhone SE. A used iPhone 10 can go for about, $400-ish, a little bit less I've seen a couple times. I would rather have one of those phones than an iPhone SE2. Even though it's used, I would probably, have a better time using a phone like that than an iPhone SE2. You're getting that dual camera setup, better battery life a little bit, better screen, better build quality in my opinion. Even though the performance isn't as great, it's still a great performing phone, and I did a comparison between the SE2 and the iPhone 10, and I said the same exact thing there a month ago. And I can tell you, if you're in the market, if you're going to pick up an SE2 even a month later, I would say go for it. I was trying to look at prices in the used market to see if anybody was selling them. Nobody was selling any SE2, so that's probably a good sign. That probably means, many people aren't really trying to, get rid of them. Obviously, they just bought them. But I think at the end of the day, you're probably better off picking up an iPhone 11 or even an iPhone 10R over an iPhone SE 2020. But if you have to go the brand new route, the iPhone SE2 is obviously probably one of the better ways to go. So after 1 month, I still think it's a great phone. But I just think, some of the quirks like the battery life, the camera maybe, and the screen those things are the things that are probably going to hit you the hardest. But other than that, I think it's a tremendous phone even 1 month later. So that's really pretty much it. Just a quick little update update about that phone. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.